who's actually going to get the most out of the Ibanez Steve Vai signature PIA3761, and who might be better off putting their money somewhere else. Is this the guitar that will finally let a mids-level shredder capture those soaring Vai-style leads without blowing the budget? Or is it a pricey collector's piece that only a handful of players will truly benefit from? And for the everyday guitarist wondering if the price tag translates into real-world value, the answer isn't as clear as the glossy white finish might suggest. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. When I first started looking at a signature model, I asked myself the same three questions that any serious buyer asks: will it fit my current setup? Will it actually improve the tone I'm already getting? And will I regret the spend if I later discover a hidden drawback? The Steve Vai signature isn't just a vanity item, it's built around a specific playing philosophy that blends high-octane tapping, whammy bar dives, and a broad tonal palette. That means the decision to buy it hinges on whether those features line up with how you actually play day to day. Let's start with the basics of how this guitar feels in a typical rehearsal room. The Edge Tremolo is the centerpiece for Vai's signature sound, and on this model it's been refined to stay relatively in tune even after aggressive dive bombs. I've seen players who spend a lot of time on whammy-heavy solos appreciate the way the bridge holds its pitch after a couple of hard pulls. The practical upshot is fewer mid-song retunings, which is a real time saver when you're in a band setting or trying to nail a take in the studio. Of course, that stability only shows up after a proper setup. If you're buying a guitar straight out of the box and never plan to adjust the tremolo, you might still encounter the classic tune drift that many beginners associate with floating bridges. The pickup configuration is another point where the real-world experience matters. Two humbuckers bookend a single coil in the middle, giving you a surprisingly versatile tonal range. In a practical sense, that layout lets you switch from thick, high-gain crunch for metal riffs to a clear, biting single-coil tone that works for cleaner arpeggios or funkish choppy rhythms. I've heard players use the middle pickup alone for those classic Vai shred sounds where the single coil's bite cuts through a wall of distortion, then flip to the bridge humbucker for a smoother, sustained lead. That kind of on-the-fly flexibility is something you can actually test in a jam session, not just read about in a spec sheet. Now, who should walk away from this guitar without even trying it? If you're a brand new player still learning basic chord changes, the price tag and the complexity of the tremolo might feel like an unnecessary hurdle. Beginners often benefit more from a simpler, fixed bridge instrument that stays in tune no matter how hard they push the strings, and they'll typically get more mileage out of a lower-priced model while they're still developing technique. Also, if your style is anchored in traditional country or folk tones where a pure single coil or a simple single pickup design is the norm, the extra humbucker and tremolo may be overkill, and you might end up paying for features you'll never use. On the flip side, intermediate to advanced players who already have a basic solid-body guitar and are looking for that next step in expressive capability will find the PIA3761 a logical upgrade. If you spend a lot of time on progressive metal, instrumental rock, or any genre where tapping and wide-range whammy work are part of the vocabulary, the Edge Tremolo combined with the pickup layout gives you the tools to execute those ideas without having to rig a separate bridge or buy a separate pickup set. The Rosewood Fingerboard offers a smooth feel that many players report helps with fast, intricate fingerwork, especially when you're doing Vai-style legato runs up the neck. Practical strengths show up most clearly when you put the guitar through a typical gig routine. The white Stallion finish isn't just a visual statement, it reflects stage lighting in a way that makes the guitar pop without the need for additional graphics. That can be a subtle confidence boost when you're the focal point of a performance. The body's weight feels balanced, solid enough to stay steady on a strap, yet not so heavy that it drags you down during long sets. Because the guitar is a solid body design, feedback issues that sometimes plague hollow body models at high volumes are essentially non-existent, which is a real plus for loud venues. Every instrument has trade-offs, and the PIA3761 is no exception. The tremolo, while stable after setup, does require regular maintenance if you push it to its limits night after night. String changes become a bit more involved compared to a hardtail bridge, and you'll likely need a few visits to a tech to keep the intonation perfect. The single coil in the middle can pick up hum and high gain settings, which is something you'll notice if you're running a lot of distortion and don't have